Tanji, come here. Come here. I have a new cat. This is him. Oh. I've been binging a lot of channels lately that have a very specific theme. So today it's feeling especially bizarre that my channel has no theme whatsoever. I'm just all over the place, but I pretty much always have been, and that's just what I'm gonna keep doing. So today I thought we would get a little salty. You know, we go on a little rant. This is for no purpose whatsoever except just for fun. So we're gonna talk about things that people do socially that get on my nerves. So like my pet peeves. Now, I'm an INTJ Virgo who has been described as particular or controlling. So I'm trying to be self-aware, you know, like I know I can't change other people's behavior and I don't expect to. And I'm pretty, you know, I go with the flow because you have to, right? But I thought it would be fun to really just talk about it just for fun. So I put together this list. Zach helped me too, because some of these bother him too. A list of things people do that get on my nerves. And I hate to make this make a negative video, and of course everyone's going to click on this because it's negative, but just know it's truly all in good fun. Number one, when people sequentially work their way into asking you for a favor, but they sort of trap you into it by the time they get to the point you're kind of trapped. For example, somebody says, "Hey, are you free on Tuesday?" Instead of just getting to the point all in one swoop, saying, "Hey, I'm out of town Monday and Tuesday. Would you mind checking on my pet on Tuesday?" I really don't like to be backed into a corner, so I'm not going to just say, "Yeah, I'm free," if I don't know what you're about to ask me, you know? Similarly, I hate when people ask, "Are you busy?" I am always busy. What do you want? I also hate when they say, "Can I ask you a question?" You just did, like, what? I know that's such like an asshole answer to give, but that's so the truth. Like, just get to the point. When people don't go ahead and say why they're asking the question in the first place, like, it feels like it's just a waste of time. And it can also be entrapping, like I said. And you know, like, side note, when people say, "Are you free?" Like, I'm never free. I always have a plan of what I'm going to do with my time. So I'm always busy. I'm never free. So just tell me what you want. Next thing that people do that gets on my nerves. This, I actually found out there's a word for it. It's breadcrumbing. So me and my sister call it the "and then what happened" game. To where people just like feed you a thing and they want you to ask more questions. My coworker came into my office and they were like, "How are you?" And I was like, "Good, how are you?" Because I also hate that conversation. And they were like, "I'm really tired." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." Because I knew that they wanted me to say, "Why are you tired?" See, that's the kind of thing. But I'm not going to ask you why you're tired. If you want to tell me why you're tired, then tell me, right? Anyway, they ended up elaborating like, "I just stayed up all night playing Call of Duty." But they wanted me to ask, why do we do this? Okay, so another thing that people do that gets on my nerves, it's kind of hard to explain, but let's say a friend initiates, "Let's hang out. Here's what we should do." And then I'll be like, "Okay." And then they'll say, "Okay, well, if that's what you want." When I'm like, don't put this on me. You initiated this. This is your thing. I'm saying okay. Okay, like, so if somebody says, "Hey, we need to hang out," I'll be like, "Okay." And then they're like, "What should we do?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Oh, okay. Another thing that people do that gets on my nerves. Oh my gosh, this pisses me off. And there's like etiquette that hasn't quite been established yet, especially when it comes to electronic communications. And maybe I'm old school or something. But I hate when people like don't reply. Let me give you an example. So someone texted me and asked me to do them a favor. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I will try. and they just didn't say anything back. And then another situation, someone that I know is in a line of business, and they periodically check in with me to see if I need their business. And so one day I sent them a big long reply, and I was like, definitely should have used you the last time I needed this service, but I really want to use you in the future. And they just didn't reply. They just didn't say anything. I just feel like that is so rude. Like, hello? Okay, another thing that people do that gets on my nerves, and this is also tricky because there's so much media in the world today, but when I give a recommendation, it is from my heart, and I don't just throw out recommendations to everyone. But if I actually go to the effort of sending someone like a link or a video of something that I want them to see, and they don't watch it, I'm like, do you care about me at all? If somebody sends me a video, I don't even want to watch it, but I will. If you sent it to me and said like, Katie, I think you would really like this, I thought of you, I'm gonna watch it. I swear, one time I sent somebody a 10-second video. It was a 10-second video. They never watched it. And I can't forget these things, and I think that's a Virgo quality. But this is kind of related. Another thing that people do that gets on my nerves is they send you a link or a picture or whatever, a video, and they just send it to you and they don't say anything. They just send you a link. Silent. Yes? What about it? Oh, are you asking me to watch it? Or is it something you think I like? Like, hello? One time somebody sent me like 13 videos in my DMs and didn't say anything. And then like a month later, they were like, hey, did you ever get to check out those videos? I was like, I didn't know why you sent them to me, so no. I sound like a jerk. Okay. Another thing that gets on my nerves that people do is when they call you and you don't answer for whatever reason, but they don't leave a voicemail and they don't text you. They just leave a missed call there on your screen, and that's all you get. Okay, another thing that people do that gets on my nerves, and granted, I just also want to say, like, I don't hate people that do this to me because everybody does. All the humans do this, and it's just the world that I have to live in. So I'm not mad if you've done this to us, okay? But another thing that we don't prefer, Zach and I, neither of us prefer this, is when it's the last minute stuff. Last minute invitations. Hey, do you want to go to dinner? Sure, when? Now. Like, okay. And I mentioned this earlier, but I hate the whole like, how are you? Good, how are you? Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Conversation that we have to have with everybody we encounter every day, like particularly at work. I know everyone's situation is different, but like in my work in an office, hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, how are you? Like, every day? Must we do this every day? Do I look like I'm different than I was yesterday? Do I look like I'm doing any different? Because I'm not. And also, why do I have to say hello to someone every time I see them throughout the day? If I pass by you in the hall 5 times in one day, like, why do we have to say hello every time? Isn't that weird? Like, everything we're doing is so weird. Another thing that people do that gets on my nerves is when they call you or reach out to you in any way and they just want something. They want one thing, like especially work related. They could just say, hey, Katie, I need you to blah, 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 blah. Can you do that? Thanks. Click. Instead of like, hey, Katie, it's John. What's up? How's everything going up there? Everything good? Okay, so hey, listen. I was wondering if you could do something for me. Like, why do we have to do that preliminary stuff? And another thing that gets on my nerves is when you answer the phone. Workplace, this is Katie. I don't know who's on the other line. But they say, hey, how are you? And I'm like, good. How are you, stranger, that I don't know who you are? How are you? How's the family? How's everything been? Why am I going to ask an anonymous person how they are? I sound like I'm full of hate. So there we go. Those are the social behaviors that really grind my gears. Again, I know it's just my personal preference, and maybe I am particular and controlling and grouchy, but I still wanted to vent about it and just like laugh about it. Maybe someone out there can relate to some of these, or maybe you can learn how to behave. And I know ultimately, like, this whole list is just simply me wanting other people to behave the way I want them to, and that will never happen, unfortunately. So all I can do is just keep a sense of humor. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.